Hey guys, what's up? Lisa from Hello Happy here, and today I thought I would share a very old pattern that I created back in 2016. My enoki mushroom scarf. I remember when I made it, I was like, this is gonna be a hit. It's gonna be so popular. Spoiler warning, it was not. And looking at it now, I get why. But you know what? It's a cute pattern and I think it deserves some attention. So I'm just going to give you the pattern as I wrote it, and you can do with it what you will. I don't really even like mushrooms very much. This is one of the few mushrooms I can tolerate, but the aesthetics of this mushroom cannot be beat. It's the cutest mushroom, in my opinion. I don't have the scarf anymore. I probably donated it to a Goodwill years and years ago, or potentially even sold it on my Etsy shop. I don't know, but I don't have the scarf, and I'm not going to make another one because what am I going to do with it? So I will just use the PDF that I created, and we'll go based off of the pictures I have in the PDF and on my laptop, and I will just tell you the pattern, and you will just have to do what I say. Let's look at some pictures, shall we? What was going on with my makeup? It was definitely experimental. I was experimenting in this photo, and it's terrifying. Can't say I didn't try. There's multiple reasons this pattern wasn't a big hit, but the photos are definitely one of those reasons. Oh boy. Before we get started, if you are wondering, I do have a pattern for these earrings. It's here on this channel, so go find it. I'll put the link in the description though. And I also have a free pattern for my microphone cover. It's a mushroom, so you can get that here on my channel as well. To make this mushroom scarf, all you're gonna need is a 4mm hook, like 400 yards of yarn. If you want to make the faces, you'll need some black yarn or some embroidery floss, and of course the needle and thread, but it's pretty basic. You just need a hook and some yarn. Before we get started on the scarf, here is a word from today's sponsors. Let's go. Today's video is sponsored by me. Look at this incredible crochet pattern that you could make right now if you go to my website and get it. Isn't that lovely? So go to hellohappy.net today and get this pattern. Isn't it nice? All right. Back to you, me. Okay, so this pattern includes 3 different mushroom head sizes. In mine, I did 3 large ones, 2 medium, and 3 small. So if you're not sure how many you should make and how many of each size you should make, you can copy mine as a base. So I'll give you the instructions for the large, the medium, and the small size. So first up is the large size mushroom. Round 1, make a magic ring of 6 single crochet. Round 2, do a single crochet increase into each stitch, so you have a total of 12. Round 3, single crochet increase around, so you have a total of 16. For round 4, do single crochet into 3 stitches and then 1 increase around, so that you have a total of 20 stitches. In the next round, you're going to single crochet into 3 stitches and then increase around, so that your stitch count will come to 25. Single crochet into 4 stitches and increase around, so then your stitch count becomes 30. For round 7, 8, and 9, you're just going to single crochet around and stay at 30 stitches. Now you're going to decrease. Round 10, you're going to single crochet into 11 stitches, decrease 2 stitches together, and then decrease the next 2 stitches together, and repeat that once more, and then you'll be at 26 stitches. For your second to last round, you're going to single crochet into 9 stitches, decrease 2 together, and then decrease 2 more together, and repeat that once, and you'll be at 22 stitches. Now, there's going to be one more round, and it's just going to actually be folding your mushroom head in half and slip stitching across to close off the bottom and flatten it. But if you're going to embroider a face, you got to do that first. I mean, you don't have to. You could do it after, but it would be really annoying to have to hide away your black yarn when your piece is already sewn together. So if you're going to embroider a face, pause here, cut like a foot long tail. And then when you're done crocheting all your mushrooms, embroider all of the faces and then do a final slip stitch row. If you're not going to make a face, go ahead and flatten the mushroom head and slip stitch it closed. The medium and small size mushrooms are basically the same, just fewer stitches. So I'm just going to put the instructions here. Here is the instruction for the medium mushroom. Just pause and make as many as you need. And here are the instructions for the small mushroom. So again, pause, make as many as you need, and then we will continue. So if you're going to add faces, here are the ones that I did. You can use these as inspiration. I obviously just embroidered the eyes. I just used my needle and like wrapped around a couple of stitches over and over until they had kind of a round shape. You could always like glue on felt, sew on buttons. I don't know that I would do safety eyes. I think maybe they'll be too sticky outy for this project, but you could give it a try and see how it looks. But if you're unsure of what sort of faces you should add, yeah, you can try these and go from there. And then once your faces are done, again, take that long tail that you've got and use it to slip stitch the end shut. And make sure you position your face so that it's right in the middle. And be sure when you're embroidering your face that you've flattened the mushroom so that the tail is on the end, so that it will be centered when you stitch up the mushroom. Now that your mushroom heads are done, we're going to make the stems. What are they called? I can't remember the word for it. We'll make the stems. So you want to find the middle 4 stitches on the large mushroom and crochet into those. And if 4 looks off center, you can always do 5 if that just visually looks right, even though that math is incorrect. Crochet is an art form. Looking nice is the most important part. Don't worry about the math, okay? Make sure it looks like it is centered. So insert your hook into that first stitch and just single crochet across either 4 or 5 stitches depending on how many you're doing. Then chain 1 and turn, and you'll be doing double crochet rows just back and forth. You can do whatever chaining and turning or standing method of double crochet rows that you prefer. For this one, I didn't do any extra chains. I just did a chain 1 and then I did a double crochet into each double crochet stitch from the previous round. You can always, chain 3, skip the first one, and then double crochet into the next one. Or if you know how to do a standing double crochet stitch, you can do that as well. Honestly, I think it looks fine with just a chain 1 turn. Do whatever you like the best. So the question is, how many rows of double crochet do you do? How long do you make each mushroom? So I ended up purposely making my scarf about 60 inches long. I've got a pretty skinny neck and I only wanted to wrap it the one time because it's really more aesthetic than functional, this scarf. So it depends on how long you want your scarf. I think 72 inches is a little more standard for if you were to just buy a scarf in a store. But basically you want to figure out the length, like if you have a scarf that you already like, and then just divide that length by 2. I made my mushrooms about 30 inches long. How many rows that is depends on, your tension. And then you, of course, want your mushrooms to be varying lengths as well. So one will be 30 inches, one will be 32 inches, one will be 28 inches. Make your mushrooms different lengths so that they sit differently on the scarf. For the medium-sized mushrooms, I did the same number of stitches in the middle, either 4 or 5 depending on how it looks. And then for the small mushrooms, I did 2 or 3 of the middle stitches. You can see the stalk on the small ones is skinnier. This is all based purely on aesthetics, so do whatever you think looks the best for the stalk width on each mushroom. So once you are satisfied with the amount of mushrooms and the length of all the mushrooms, go ahead and either use like sewing pins or even scrap yarn to just attach the bottoms of each mushroom together where they line up, and make sure they're all facing up, like all of the faces are like facing you, or if you want some of the faces to be facing opposite direction, be sure to like line them up the direction you want them. So once they're all lined up, you want to take your hook, insert it into the last stitch on the rightmost mushroom, single crochet into that stitch, and then slowly start single crocheting along the whole bottom, picking up each stitch from each mushroom. As you can see, I had mine overlapping. Sometimes you'll be going through 2 stitches from 2 different mushrooms at one time if you have them overlapping like mine are. It just depends on how you want it to look. So be artistic, okay? Now, I don't necessarily stand by my original design idea for the second half of the scarf. I did front post double crochet, and like I understand the concept and I think it's okay, but I feel like maybe somebody could come up with potentially a cuter idea, but I don't know. I'm just gonna tell you what I did. So essentially I just divided the amount of stitches I had into, you know, an even number, and if you have to add or subtract a stitch or two to make, you know, an evenly split number, that's totally fine. It depends on how many stitches you have, where you're going to do the front post double crochet stitches, but you want it to be evenly spaced. Maybe that's just how I did it. Maybe you want yours to be a little more creative. You could do whatever you want. It's your scarf. But I did mine with 3 stitches and then a front post double crochet across. And you know, when you chain 1 turn and you're doing the back side, you do back post double crochet rather than a front post double crochet, so that you have that line continuing all the way down. And like I said, I made my scarf about 60 inches. So I made the amount of rows for this second half of the scarf 30 inches, so that the total would be 60. But again, just make it the same length as like the longest mushrooms that you made, so that the final length comes out to be the length that you originally wanted. I also continued using just the chain 1 turn for these rows. Do the same turning method that you used on each mushroom, so that it has a cohesive look. You don't want to suddenly start doing a different method or it will be noticeable. Once it's long enough, you can finish off, and then you can add some little fringe roots on the bottom. I don't know if mushrooms have roots like that, but does it matter? No. It's art, baby. So add fringe if you like. I think it looks a little awkward if you don't add fringe, but that's me. Do whatever you want. And that's the scarf. It's a time-consuming process, but it's relatively easy. So I hope you enjoyed this little walk down memory lane for me anyway. And let me know if you actually made this scarf. Honestly, I think the idea is solid. I want to see what y'all do with this in 2025. I think you could probably hear that siren even with my microphone. I feel like y'all could really transform this little guy into something great. So show me, tag me on social media, all that good stuff. You know, I want to see it. And that's gonna do it. The next crochet video is going to involve this sweet little guy, so look forward to that whenever I get around to finishing it. It's been on my to-do list for weeks now. Oops. Oh well. All right, bye.